There is a reason the most powerful transformations in a man's life happen in silence, not in celebration, not in public, not in the eyes of others, but in the deep, unseen hours when the world believes he is sleeping. What grows in darkness becomes unstoppable in daylight. You have spoken of change, perhaps even begged for it, yet each morning you have awakened feeling strangely identical to yesterday. The reason is simple. You have been trying to rebuild your life with a mind that still carries the scars of the past. True change cannot begin until the subconscious is rewritten, and the subconscious listens best when you are unconscious. For the next 7 nights, you will enter a process most men will never experience. And I give you this one command before you begin. Tell no one. Keep your results sacred. Keep your progress hidden. Keep the transformation in your heart until it is undeniable. A seed grows best when no one is digging in the soil to check if it is alive. Let me tell you a quiet truth the crowd never hears. When you announce your desire too soon, the world steals its strength. When you speak of your dream while it is still forming, you expose it to doubt, your own and everyone else's. That is why the greatest changes begin in secrecy. They require privacy, protection, and the solitude of the night. Think of your life as it is today, the battles you fight, the anxieties that follow you into the early hours, the feeling that no matter what you do, something unseen keeps pulling you back. That something unseen is your subconscious story, repeating itself without your permission. And unless you teach it a new story, your life will follow the old one. This is why the next 7 nights matter more than the next 7 months. In these nights, your conscious resistance will fall away. Your defenses will soften. The part of you that argues, doubts, reasons, and fears will grow quiet. Into that silence, we will speak new laws, new commands, new identity. Most men try to change themselves while awake and fail. You will change while dreaming, and dream changes last. But let me warn you, secrecy is part of the law. If you speak too soon, if you share the shift before it stabilizes, if you expose what is fragile to the opinions of the mediocre, the transformation will lose its fire. Do not allow anyone to touch your becoming. Ask yourself this: when was the last time you kept something for yourself, truly for yourself, not to hide, but to protect, not to conceal, but to strengthen? Men forget that the most powerful victories are formed behind closed doors. Tonight you will begin a silent covenant with your subconscious. For 7 nights you will feed it only strength, only faith, only purpose, only abundance. You will give it no room for fear, no soil for doubt, no echo of yesterday's limitations. You will allow these words to reach depths you cannot reach while awake. Imagine waking with a calm you cannot explain. Imagine decisions flowing without hesitation. Imagine a confidence rising in you without effort. Imagine looking at your life and feeling the shift before you understand how it happened. These are the signs that your subconscious has begun to obey you. But no one must know. They will see the changes soon enough, and they will call it luck, coincidence, or a phase. Let them guess. Let them wonder. Let them invent stories. The truth belongs only to you. There is a special power in withholding your transformation until it becomes undeniable. A man becomes formidable when his growth is internal long before it becomes external. He does not seek validation. He does not ask for approval. He walks with an inner certainty no one can disturb. Tonight the work begins, but listen closely. The subconscious does not respond to half-hearted attempts. It does not bend for the curious. It bends for the committed. If you listen with drifting thoughts, nothing will happen. If you treat this as background sound, you will wake tomorrow unchanged. But if you surrender to these nights, if you allow the words to seep into your being, your life will shift beneath your feet. Think of the next 7 days as a quiet revolution. No announcements, no declarations, no public vows, only obedience, only repetition, only faith delivered to the deepest chamber of your mind. You will discover that change born in secret is the strongest form of change. It is free from ridicule, free from interruption, free from doubt. It grows roots before it grows branches. It becomes stable before it becomes visible. And when the results appear, and they will, you will remember this moment, the decision to transform quietly. So lie down, close your eyes, let the weight of the day dissolve. Allow these words to guide you into the inner world where your life is truly built. For 7 nights, you will not chase transformation. You will absorb it. Tell no one. Let the results speak louder than your explanations ever could. Every transformation that endures begins in silence. Every lasting change begins unseen. The seed grows its roots beneath the soil long before the flower ever meets the light. So it is with the mind of man. The soil of your subconscious is sacred ground. It will grow anything you plant and protect in faith. But it requires darkness, it requires privacy, and it requires patience. The loud talker, the bragger of intentions, is like the farmer who digs up his seed each day to prove it still exists. He kills it through curiosity and exposure. When a man begins the work of inner change, he must do so in secrecy. There is a reason the Almighty performs his greatest works in silence. The tide shifts without a sound, the stars move without announcement, the sun rises without permission. Nature herself reveals the wisdom of hidden growth. To become a master of your destiny, you must learn to imitate her ways. The subconscious mind is a mysterious field, fertile, obedient, and exact. It does not question the quality of the seed. It simply multiplies whatever is placed within it. Fear planted becomes more fear. Faith planted becomes more faith. But the one law it will never break is this: the seed must remain underground until its roots are strong enough to bear exposure. The man who exposes his purpose too soon invites failure before the harvest. I call this law the law of the hidden seed, and it is one of the oldest truths of power. You are not to share your growth until the roots are firm, until the stalk can withstand the weight of the fruit. For if you share too soon, the wind of doubt will uproot it. This is why I tell you, keep your transformation private. Do not discuss it with the idle or the indifferent. Let it live in the night until it is strong enough to face the day. Faith, in its purest form, is the inner germination, the silent process by which belief matures into conviction. Faith is not noise, it is nourishment. It feeds the seed within your subconscious until it becomes part of your nature. Each repetition of your purpose is a drop of water. Each thought of gratitude is a ray of sunlight. The subconscious never forgets what is repeated with emotion. Speak your new identity inwardly until it becomes your truth. Then remain silent. Look to the life of Andrew Carnegie, whose empire began not with a proclamation but with a whisper of resolve. While other men talked of opportunity, he planned quietly, listening to the rhythm of his own certainty. He drafted his future in silence, each day watering his vision with faith. When at last he moved with the force of inevitability. The world saw only the fruit. No one saw the roots that had grown in secret. The same law governed Thomas Edison, who spent endless nights in solitude, staring at the darkness and asking questions that had no immediate answer. His neighbors called him foolish. His peers mocked him. But Edison never argued. He guarded his work like a sacred seed. When at last the light bulb burned bright, the world applauded. They did not know that thousands of invisible failures had prepared that success. Silence was his ally. Patience was his tool. You must learn to emulate this hidden persistence. Do not speak of your aim until it breathes on its own. Every time you describe your vision, you lose part of its vitality. Words are gates. Once opened too often, the energy escapes. When the time is right, your results will announce themselves with greater authority than speech ever could. Until then, let your silence serve as the womb of creation. There is a garden within you. Each thought is a seed. Each emotion is rain or drought. When you share your vision prematurely, you expose the soil to scavengers, opinions, criticisms, envy. Protect your garden. Do not explain it to the untrained eye, for they will trample what they cannot understand. A wise farmer plants in solitude and reaps in abundance. Write your definite aim upon paper. Place it where only you can see it. Read it twice daily, morning and night, but speak it to no one. Let it be your private covenant with yourself and with the infinite intelligence that watches in silence. The subconscious obeys the law of secrecy. What is kept sacred gains strength. Remember always, talking about progress is not progress. To speak of your purpose is to give away fragments of your conviction. Keep your energy compressed within, for compression multiplies power. Like steam confined within a boiler, it gains force. Release it through speech, and it becomes vapor. Contain it, and it can move engines. Repeat silently this affirmation before rest. My growth is my secret. My silence is my strength. What is forming within me shall one day astonish the world. Say it not as poetry, but as command. Feel its truth. The subconscious does not respond to verse, it responds to emotion. Believe these words as you would believe the rising of the sun. There will come nights when you will wish to speak of your progress, when the excitement of discovery urges you to share. Resist it. Let the fire build pressure beneath the surface. Containment is part of creation. The fruit that ripens slowly tastes sweeter and endures longer. You will notice as the nights pass that something begins to shift within you. You will think more clearly, stand more upright, move with greater assurance. Others will sense it too. They will see confidence in your eyes and composure in your bearing, though they cannot name its source. Let them wonder. Their curiosity is proof that the seed has taken root. Understand this also. Silence is not inaction, it is preparation. While you appear still to others, the subconscious is busy reshaping your inner world. Each repetition of your purpose carves new channels through which power will later flow. The man who controls his tongue begins to control his fate. When I first began my own work, I was instructed by Andrew Carnegie himself to guard my plans as a banker guards gold. The moment you speak of your aim, he told me, you invite thieves of discouragement to rob you. I learned early that energy must be invested, not broadcast. Every word spoken without purpose diminishes the charge of belief. The crowd will never understand this principle. They mistake noise for achievement. They confuse motion with progress. They rush to announce every thought and then wonder why nothing endures. But you must live by a higher law. The master builder works unseen until the foundation is strong enough to bear weight. Faith requires daily watering. It is not a single act, but a continuous practice. Each night, repeat your purpose inwardly. Imagine it growing in the dark. See its roots spreading, its strength increasing. Know that infinite intelligence nourishes it beneath the surface. Do not measure progress by outward signs. Trust the law. The seed does not reveal growth until the time is right. In due season, your results will appear, and they will be undeniable. Others will ask, when did you change? How did you accomplish this? Smile, but answer not. Let the work speak for itself. Silence is the most eloquent testimony of mastery. Each time you resist the temptation to share, you prove to yourself that your faith no longer needs approval. You free yourself from the craving for validation. That freedom marks the beginning of power. The man who can remain silent about his purpose has already conquered half the battle of achievement. Consider the tree in winter. It appears lifeless, yet beneath the frost, life moves with perfect rhythm. The sap flows unseen, the roots stretch deeper. When spring arrives, the buds appear suddenly, though their growth was long prepared. Your own progress will follow this same pattern. Those who judged you stagnant will marvel at your speed, never realizing how long you labored in the dark. Do not envy those who display early blossoms. Many flowers bloom fast and die faster. Lasting greatness matures slowly, fed by invisible roots. Let your time in silence be long and patient. When your moment comes, it will endure because it was built unseen. Understand this, too. Secrecy is not isolation. You are not alone in this process. Infinite intelligence, the creative force that governs all order, responds most powerfully to quiet conviction. When you stop announcing your desires to men, you begin conversing with the infinite. Faith whispers where noise cannot enter. If you would become a man of influence, cultivate this habit. Speak little of your intentions, but think deeply of their fulfillment. Let your mind replay your aim as naturally as breathing. When a doubt arises, replace it instantly with an image of completion. The subconscious, loyal and tireless, will take your images as instruction. Do not fear delay. Every period of silence is a season of strengthening. The seed's first task is not to reach upward, but to dig downward. It must find stability before visibility. So must you. If progress seems slow, know that the roots are expanding beneath. There is dignity in quiet preparation. Let the world chatter while you build in peace. Let others seek praise while you gather power. The noise of the crowd is for the uncertain. The silence of labor belongs to the sure. Each night when you close your eyes, picture your purpose as a glowing seed resting in rich soil. See yourself watering it with faith. Whisper to it the promise of future harvest. Feel gratitude as though the fruit were already yours. This is the way of the hidden seed. Soon your subconscious will accept this practice as law. You will find your thoughts aligning naturally with success. You will act decisively without hesitation. You will radiate calm where you once trembled. Others will sense it, but they will not know its cause. That is as it should be. Your inner world is sacred territory. Treat it as holy ground. Do not allow idle conversation or the opinions of small minds to tread upon it. Every idea you guard becomes a living thing, fed by your attention, strengthened by your belief, protected until it can stand the winds of the world. From this night forward, you must regard your silence as your workshop. Every thought is a tool, every emotion a chisel shaping the stone of destiny. Do not rush the carving. Great monuments are formed by patient hands. You are beginning the most vital phase of your growth, the unseen. Those who will one day admire your achievements will never know these hours of quiet cultivation. But you will remember them, and they will give meaning to your triumph. Repeat again, and let it sink beyond thought. My growth is my secret. My silence is my strength. What is forming within me shall one day astonish the world. Now keep it there. Do not explain it. Do not seek proof. Simply let it be. The seed has been planted. The soil has accepted it. Infinite intelligence has begun its work. Rest in faith, for what grows in darkness becomes unstoppable in daylight. There comes a moment in every man's ascent when his greatest enemy is not opposition, but exposure. A dream can die not because it lacks strength, but because it is spoken before it has matured. The air of the world is filled with doubt, and every time you open your mouth to explain your purpose, you invite that doubt to enter. The tongue is a leak through which faith escapes. You must learn the discipline of withholding, to keep power compressed within, to hold your intention so tightly that it glows like a hidden furnace. The mind is a chamber of heat and pressure. Within it, ideas are molten metal, capable of being forged into tools of achievement, but only if contained. A furnace that is constantly opened cannot sustain temperature. It cools, it sputters, it dies. So it is with purpose. The more you open the door of speech, the faster the heat dissipates. Containment is not cowardice, it is craftsmanship. When I studied the habits of men who rose from obscurity to dominion, I found they shared a single trait. They spoke little and built much. Henry Ford was such a man. While others debated, he constructed. He seldom revealed his plans until they had already taken shape in steel and machinery. Those around him often misunderstood him. Some even mocked him for his silence. But Ford knew that every word spent in explanation is energy stolen from execution, and you must understand that silence is a shield for your belief. Each time you proclaim your aim prematurely, you surrender a portion of its strength. The law of energy is simple. What is released cannot be recalled. The current of your will must be directed inward until it reaches critical intensity. Then, and only then, should you act. This I call the law of contained power. The greater the pressure, the greater the force when released. The universe itself operates under this law. The seed waits under soil. The thundercloud gathers energy in silence. The volcano stores its fire in the heart of stone. When release comes, it is irresistible. Be like nature, slow to speak, relentless to act. Most men are weak not because they lack desire, but because they cannot contain it. They talk themselves into exhaustion. They declare their intentions, seeking validation, and the applause of others becomes their reward. Thus, they never receive the true reward of accomplishment. The secret dreamer, on the other hand, works while the world sleeps. He gathers his energy in private, directing it toward a single definite purpose. I once knew a man who spent years in poverty, though he was rich in ideas. His failure was not from lack of ability, but from his need to be understood. Every time a new idea visited him, he ran to others for approval. "Do you think it will work?" he would ask. They would laugh, and his faith would shrink. He would abandon the idea before it could root. His wealth leaked out through words. Compare him to the miner who keeps his discovery quiet until the claim is secured. There is an old story of such a miner who uncovered a shining vein of gold in a lonely canyon. In excitement, he ran to the town and boasted of his find. When he returned, the claim was already taken, the vein already stripped. He had lost his fortune through his tongue. So it is with dreams. Speak of them too soon, and the world takes what you have not yet secured. The discipline of withholding must become your nightly vow. Before you sleep, review your vision in silence. Seal it with gratitude. Say within yourself, "What I build within, I keep within, until it is strong enough to stand." This is the ritual of the wise. Gratitude closes the door of anxiety, and secrecy seals the chamber of power. When you practice this, you will begin to feel a strange pressure building inside you, a heat, a pulse, an inner readiness. That is power being distilled. It is belief compressing into conviction. It is willpower being refined into destiny. Do not mistake that pressure for discomfort. It is creation. Persistence, when seen in this light, is no longer struggle. It is silent continuation. It is the art of carrying the fire quietly through doubt and delay. There will be days when nothing seems to move, when silence feels like stagnation. But I tell you this truth: no silence is wasted that is filled with purpose. The root works unseen while the leaf appears lifeless. Those who cannot endure quiet will never harvest greatness. Consider again Henry Ford, whose factory dreams were ridiculed by investors. He could have spent his time convincing others of his vision. Instead, he worked alone, collecting parts, perfecting designs, failing in secret until he succeeded in strength. When at last his machine roared to life, the world was forced to listen. His silence became his trumpet. There is more dignity in quiet labor than in 1,000 speeches of intention. Action is the language of faith. Talk belongs to the uncertain. The man who must explain himself has not yet believed in himself. When your belief becomes absolute, words become unnecessary. I tell you another truth. When you speak of your goals, you create witnesses, and witnesses expect progress. If delay occurs, they begin to doubt you. Their doubt infects your own subconscious. Thus begins the slow erosion of faith. Better to have no witnesses at all than to have the wrong ones. Every word you speak about your purpose writes itself upon the mind of another. Some will envy, others will criticize, still others will secretly hope for your failure, for it justifies their own stagnation. Do not feed them with your revelation. Let them discover your success only when it can no longer be denied. Learn from nature. The most powerful forces move without sound. The roots of mountains shift in silence. The currents of the ocean reshape continents unheard. The stars cross the heavens wordlessly. Why then should you announce what the universe itself conceals? The crowd confuses noise with importance, but the wise know that importance requires no noise. The hammer that builds a palace sounds louder than the mind that designs it, yet the palace would not exist without the silent mind. Be that silent designer. Each night, as you lay your head upon the pillow, imagine your aim sealed behind the vault of your mind. Picture it glowing with potential energy, waiting for its appointed hour. Feel gratitude for its certainty, not its appearance. Whisper to it, "You are safe within me. Grow strong and steady. I will not expose you until you are ready." Then sleep with that vow. Over time, this practice will change your very expression. You will walk with quiet assurance. Your eyes will hold an unreadable depth. Others will sense something resolute in your presence, an energy that needs no explanation. They will not know it, but they are responding to your withheld fire. To speak less is to command more. Those who leak their energy through endless conversation are easily forgotten. The man who speaks sparingly is remembered, for each word carries weight. Power gathers in restraint. When Carnegie was still a clerk, he kept his plans for the steel empire entirely to himself. Men in his company dismissed him as ordinary. Years later, they worked under him. They saw only the visible success. They never saw the furnace of silence that forged it. You must become that furnace. Do not confuse secrecy with fear. The coward hides from the world because he doubts his worth. The wise man withholds because he respects his vision. One hides from ridicule, the other guards from theft. Silence born of faith is strength. Silence born of fear is paralysis. Know the difference. It will be tempting to measure your progress by the reactions of others. Resist this. When you do not announce your growth, there is nothing to measure but your own consistency. You will learn patience, and patience will make you unbreakable. Remember that a king does not seek applause while planning conquest. He sits in council with himself, mapping victory long before the trumpet sounds. So must you govern your empire of thought. Decide in silence, prepare in silence, and execute in silence. The noise of victory will come in its season. Each repetition of your purpose builds pressure within your subconscious. The more you rehearse it quietly, the denser your conviction becomes. I have called this spiritual compression. Like steam confined in a chamber, it becomes force when directed. Without containment, it disperses into nothing. In time, this compression will express itself outwardly. You will act without hesitation. You will move with confidence that surprises even you. The people around you will notice the change, but will find no words for it. Some will admire you, others will envy you, all will feel your magnetism. That is the sign that your inner fire has become outward authority. You may find that silence isolates you from those who thrive on talk. Let them go. The path of mastery is narrow and often solitary. The noise of the crowd cannot follow you into higher ground. But fear not. What you lose in company, you gain in power. Solitude refines faith. Every moment you remain faithful to secrecy, you strengthen your inner bond with infinite intelligence. For the infinite speaks only in whispers. It avoids the ears of the careless and meets the listener in stillness. The man who cannot be quiet cannot hear guidance. Keep your silence not only to protect your ideas, but to make room for inspiration. Before you sleep tonight, repeat this simple practice. Sit in silence, picture your aim clearly, and surround it with gratitude. Say within, My dream grows stronger in silence. My conviction multiplies in secrecy. I trust the law of contained power. Then release all thought and rest. Over the coming nights, you will begin to feel an invisible current forming between your inner purpose and the events of the outer world. You will meet the right people, stumble upon timely opportunities, or awaken with new ideas. Do not rush to explain these things. The moment you share them, the thread weakens. Keep them close until they have matured. Others will see your calm and call it luck. They will see your progress and call it coincidence. Let them. Their words are leaves. Your silence is the root. The leaf may flutter in wind, but the root endures through storm. Know this: the world does not need your explanations. It needs your example. Speak through results, not rhetoric. The silent worker commands more respect than the loud dreamer. When your achievements stand, even your silence will echo louder than their words. There will be times when silence feels heavy, when you long to share your vision for reassurance. But reassurance sought is faith lost. Trust yourself. The universe favors the man who needs no audience. The discipline of withholding is a test of mastery. It demands restraint, patience, and faith beyond sight. But those who pass it become unshakable. They act with the quiet authority of inevitability. Repeat often to yourself, I do not announce my aim, I embody it. I do not explain my faith, I express it. I do not chase recognition, I attract it. When you live by these words, you will move differently. You will speak less, achieve more, and command the respect of all who cross your path. Keep your fire contained, keep your dreams sealed, let it burn until it becomes light. For when it finally shines, the world will not ask when you began. It will ask how you became so powerful. And your only answer will be the truth. I learned to stay silent until the work was done. There is a law more mysterious and more powerful than all others I have taught. It governs the silent hours when the world believes you are sleeping. In those hours, your body rests, but your mind continues its labor. While your eyes are closed, your deeper self begins the reconstruction of your destiny. Most men waste these hours. They drift into unconsciousness without purpose, and the subconscious, left without command, wanders through confusion, fear, and old memories. But the man who understands the law of the night becomes the master builder of his own fate. The night is not the absence of activity. It is the arena of invisible work. When you lie down, you enter the sacred chamber of renewal. The conscious mind, that restless governor, finally grows quiet. The arguments, the doubts, the calculations all fall away, and what remains is the purest workshop of the soul. Here the subconscious waits like a faithful craftsman, ready for instruction. Give it chaos, and it will rebuild chaos. Give it order, and it will rebuild order. And I call this the law of the night builder. It states that what you think, feel, and command before sleep becomes the pattern your subconscious will labor upon until morning. You may awaken to the results tomorrow or next week or in the season appointed, but the building begins tonight. Consider for a moment how faithfully the body obeys this same rhythm. When you are injured, it heals during rest. When you are tired, strength is restored while you sleep. So too does the mind repair and rebuild itself when you withdraw from the noise of day. The difference is that the body heals automatically, but the mind heals only under direction. It must be told what to mend, what to shape, what to multiply. Each night is therefore a chance for rebirth. Each evening is the closing of one life and the conception of another. The man who drifts into sleep with worry builds another day of worry. The man who closes his eyes with gratitude and purpose builds another day of prosperity. The subconscious has no choice. It must reproduce whatever is most deeply impressed upon it. Dr. Frank W. Gonsalves understood this law, though he may not have named it. As a young preacher, he longed to build a college for poor boys, but he had no money, only a vision. For months he prayed, reasoned, and planned, yet nothing changed. One night, he grew weary of waiting and decided to act. He resolved that the next morning he would preach a sermon called "What I Would Do If I Had $1,000,000." He fell asleep holding that decision in mind. By morning, the subconscious had strengthened his conviction, and the sermon poured from him with such certainty that it moved a wealthy man to give him the $1,000,000. He built the college, and it stands as living proof of the law of the night builder. Understand this clearly. The subconscious is the bridge between thought and manifestation, and that bridge is crossed most easily when the conscious mind is quiet. During waking hours, your will is scattered. It is pulled in many directions by worry, distraction, and contradiction. But in the night, when resistance sleeps, faith becomes supreme ruler. The words and images you feed the subconscious then become its command for the coming day. Therefore, never fall asleep idly. Never let the last thought before rest be a complaint, a regret, or a fear. Each of these is a blueprint that the subconscious will obediently follow. If you wish to be prosperous, picture prosperity before sleep. If you wish for courage, picture yourself acting with boldness. If you wish for clarity, picture yourself knowing exactly what to do. The subconscious cannot distinguish between reality and imagination. It will build both with equal precision. You must learn what I call dream construction. This is the art of feeding your mind definite orders before slumber, using not the language of logic, but the language of feeling. When the conscious mind is too tired for argument, the subconscious accepts suggestions more readily. This is the reason why prayer before sleep is so powerful. It bypasses resistance. But prayer without emotion is useless. You must feel your words as true. Every night before rest, conduct a simple ritual. Sit quietly in darkness. Breathe slowly until your body grows still. Then speak within. As my body rests, my inner architect builds. My nights design the days of my success. Visualize your purpose as already completed. Imagine yourself living in that future, walking in it, feeling its reality. Let the emotion of gratitude fill you as if the work were already done. Then surrender to sleep. Do not be concerned with how or when results will appear. The subconscious arranges its own methods. It will influence your actions, your speech, your environment, and the minds of others. It will direct you toward people and events that match your inner picture. This is not fantasy, it is law. Thomas Edison used this law to extract ideas from infinite intelligence itself. He often sat in his chair holding a small steel ball in his hand. As he drifted between waking and sleep, his muscles relaxed and the ball fell to the floor, waking him. In that moment between consciousness and slumber, when the subconscious was fully open, ideas came to him, formulas, inventions, solutions. He would write them down before they vanished. The light bulb, the phonograph, and many of his greatest achievements were born in those twilight moments. The world saw genius. He understood it as obedience to the night builder. Infinite intelligence speaks in silence. It sends impressions, not arguments, images, not explanations, and it speaks most clearly to the man who listens between wake and sleep. This is why I tell you, approach your nights as holy hours. They are not for escape, but for creation. Do not think that this law belongs only to inventors and dreamers. It belongs to every man who desires mastery. The merchant who pictures his shop filled with customers before sleep will find new opportunities by day. The student who imagines knowledge settling easily into his mind will awaken with clearer memory. The father who holds his family in peace before sleep will awaken to harmony. Whatever picture you place before your subconscious in faith, it must reproduce. The night is the laboratory of power. While your conscious mind rests, the subconscious rearranges facts, connects ideas, solves problems, heals the body, and prepares tomorrow's strength. But it requires material to work with. Give it the material of faith, gratitude, and definiteness, and it will build gold. Give it the material of fear, resentment, and uncertainty, and it will build ruin. The choice is always yours. There is a rhythm to the subconscious. Repetition engraves grooves through which thought flows effortlessly. That is why this practice must be nightly. One night of purpose is like a single drop upon stone. It makes little mark. But 1,000 nights of repetition carve a channel through which faith becomes habit, and habit becomes reality. You may wonder why repetition is necessary if the subconscious obeys so easily. The answer is that old impressions still linger. The mind, like soil, contains the roots of past harvests. They must be crowded out by new growth. Repetition is the plow that breaks the ground, the rain that nourishes the new seed, the sunlight that warms it. Faith matures through constancy. Each night of right thinking builds upon the last. After 7 nights, you will begin to sense subtle changes. You will wake lighter, clearer, more confident. After 7 weeks, others will begin to notice. They will say, "You look rested," or "You seem different." They will not realize that you have been rebuilding yourself in secret. The subconscious works not only on your mind, but on your body. It controls every organ, every cell, every function. When filled with thoughts of vitality and success, it renews the body accordingly. Worry, on the other hand, poisons the bloodstream with its command of fear. The man who sleeps in gratitude strengthens his body as surely as his fortune. Let me speak plainly. If you wish to transform your life, you must first master your nights. You cannot be careless with those sacred hours. They decide the direction of your days. What the subconscious rehearses while you sleep becomes the script you act upon when you wake. You may test this truth tonight. Before sleep, hold one clear image: a problem solved, a plan completed, a habit broken. Picture it vividly. Then release it and rest. In the morning, notice what thoughts arise. You will find new ideas waiting, new energy stirring, new guidance forming. The subconscious will have done its work. The drifter does the opposite. He ends his day with complaints, arguments, and fears. He falls asleep in discord and wonders why he wakes in defeat. His subconscious spends the night replaying the failures of yesterday. Thus, each day becomes a repetition of the last. He believes himself cursed when he is merely undirected. Do not drift. Command. Each night, as the world quiets, issue your instructions to the unseen builder within you. Speak calmly, clearly, confidently. Then withdraw. Let faith take over where effort ends. You will be astonished at the speed with which circumstances begin to align. There will come a time when you no longer need to force belief. The repetition itself will have carved conviction into your soul. You will fall asleep naturally upon thoughts of success, and your subconscious will labor joyfully to fulfill them. Then your days will flow with ease, for they will be the reflection of order within. I have said before that success is never accidental. It is the result of harmony between conscious desire and subconscious expectation. The man who aligns these two becomes unstoppable. The night is the meeting place of both. There, in the quiet between worlds, the conscious plants the seed and the subconscious tends it. When others waste their evenings in noise and distraction, you will use yours for regeneration. When they rise weary, you will rise refreshed. When they wander in confusion, you will walk in purpose. You will have discovered the secret of the ages, that man is a builder of worlds while he sleeps. From this night forward, promise yourself that you will never again fall asleep as a drifter. You will enter each night as a craftsman enters his shop, with plan, with reverence, with expectation. And when morning comes, you will step into a world built by your own design. Whisper before you rest, "As my body rests, my inner architect builds, my nights design the days of my success." Let these words be the last you speak, for while the world sleeps, you shall build its future. There is a mistake most men make when they attempt to change their lives. They fight the old. They wrestle with their fears. debate their habits, argue with their past. But the subconscious mind does not respond to conflict. It does not yield to struggle. What is resisted persists, for resistance feeds the very picture one wishes to erase. The only way to remove an old pattern is to replace it. You must starve the weeds by planting new flowers. The subconscious does not erase, it replaces. It cannot obey both masters at once. When you feed it faith, fear dies for lack of nourishment. When you speak gratitude, complaint withers in silence. The law of substitution is as natural as the sunrise. Darkness does not retreat because it is chased away. It disappears because light enters. So must you bring the light of new belief into the chambers once occupied by doubt. This is what I call the law of quiet replacement. It is the law by which weakness is outgrown through silent repetition of strength. You do not conquer anger by suppressing it. You transcend it by cultivating calm. You do not cure worry by argument. You outgrow it by faith. The subconscious is like a child. It believes whatever it hears most often. Stop scolding the child for its errors. Begin teaching it new truth. The drifter spends his nights lamenting his failures. He lies in bed replaying regrets, and in doing so, renews them. The wise man knows better. He does not fight the memory of defeat. He replaces it with a vision of victory. He pictures himself acting as he wishes to act, speaking as he wishes to speak, succeeding as he wishes to succeed. The subconscious receives these new impressions and begins to build them into fact. You cannot destroy what has already taken root, but you can plant something stronger beside it. Over time, the stronger growth will crowd out the weaker. So it is with faith and fear, purpose and hesitation, gratitude and complaint. The mind cannot hold two opposing emotions at once. One must give way. Your task is to choose which shall remain. Consider Abraham Lincoln, who bore the weight of national conflict and personal tragedy. Had he fought despair directly, it would have consumed him. Instead, he replaced it with devotion to a cause greater than himself. His faith in the Union, in justice, in providence became so strong that sorrow found no room to dwell. Faith grew and despair starved. Think also of Charles M. Schwab, who transformed the mood of entire factories through the same law. When workers were demoralized, he did not rebuke them. He replaced their doubt with enthusiasm. He praised what was good until it multiplied. His spirit spread through the mills like sunlight through fog. Within months, production soared, and every man walked taller. You must learn to practice this law in your own mind. Each time a thought of fear arises, do not wrestle with it. Introduce its opposite. If the thought says, "I cannot," replace it instantly with, "I can and I will." If it whispers, "It is too late," answer, "My time is perfect." If it murmurs, "I am unworthy," respond, "I am chosen for this purpose." Speak the new command quietly but firmly, and do not repeat the old. What you repeat, you reinforce. At night, before sleep, review your day not to condemn yourself, but to correct direction. When you find a weakness, replace it with a vision of strength. Say within, "Every breath replaces doubt with certainty. Every hour replaces hesitation with calm command." Then fall asleep under that new pattern. Your subconscious will accept the correction as instruction and begin the reconstruction. Do not imagine that this change happens instantly. The subconscious must be trained as a muscle is trained. Each repetition strengthens the new pattern. Each moment of faith weakens the old. Repetition is the chisel that reshapes identity. In time, what once required effort becomes automatic. You may think of this process as building new highways of thought. Old beliefs are narrow, winding roads through wilderness. Each repetition of a new idea is another strike of the hammer, clearing trees, laying stones, widening the path. Eventually, your mind will travel that way by habit. The road of fear will fall into disuse and disappear. The secret lies in quiet persistence. Do not announce your replacements. Do not tell others you are working on yourself. The moment you speak, you awaken the resistance of others' opinions. Let your transformation occur behind closed doors. Secrecy strengthens faith because it eliminates contradiction. What no one can question, no one can weaken. As the weeks pass, you will notice a new steadiness about yourself. Situations that once provoked you will lose their power. Anxiety will dissolve where calm has taken residence. People will sense the difference but cannot define it. They will ask, "Have you been resting more?" Or, "You seem changed." Let them wonder. They are witnessing the power of quiet replacement. The subconscious speaks only the language of affirmation. It does not understand denial. If you say, "I am not afraid," it hears, "I am afraid." Therefore, phrase all your commands positively. Speak only of what you desire to grow. The gardener does not shout at weeds. He plants flowers until weeds disappear. So plant faith, confidence, gratitude, and courage. These four alone will reclaim every field of the mind. If you find yourself doubting, remember this: the universe abhors a vacuum. The moment you remove a thought, another must take its place. If you do not choose it, habit will. Therefore, never leave your mind empty. Fill it deliberately with the opposite of what you no longer want. When Lincoln replaced grief with purpose, he aligned himself with a law greater than emotion. When Schwab replaced doubt with enthusiasm, he created wealth through atmosphere. When Edison replaced failure with curiosity, he transformed defeat into discovery. They all obeyed the same principle: change by substitution, not by struggle. You may apply this law to every aspect of life. If your environment discourages you, picture it improving instead of cursing it. If your income is low, imagine yourself handling abundance wisely instead of lamenting scarcity. If your relationships are cold, imagine warmth flowing from you until others mirror it. The subconscious mirrors what it receives in faith. As you persist, your outer world will begin to match your inner pattern. Opportunities will appear that reflect your new attitude. People will treat you according to your new expectation. Events will unfold as if they have been waiting for your permission to improve. This is not coincidence, it is obedience. Faith grows fastest in silence. When you battle loudly against fear, you feed it attention. But when you quietly replace it, the old fear withers without notice. Silence is the soil in which transformation takes root. That is why I say again, keep your progress secret. The seed of change must grow in the dark. Every night, review your purpose and reinforce it with feeling. Say softly, "I am replacing weakness with strength, confusion with order, fear with faith. My mind is loyal to the image of who I am becoming." Then visualize yourself already living that truth. Picture yourself walking, speaking, and working as the man you wish to be. The subconscious does not know imagination from reality. It obeys whichever is repeated with emotion. At first, you may feel as though you are pretending. Continue anyway. Pretending is the rehearsal of becoming. What you act upon inwardly long enough, you embody outwardly. You are teaching your subconscious a new language, the language of success. Gradually, you will find that the old emotions no longer visit as often. Their power fades, replaced by calm assurance. This is the sign of progress. Do not seek perfection, seek direction. The man who walks steadily forward arrives sooner than the one who sprints in confusion. Others will begin to see changes they cannot explain. They will sense a maturity, a quiet certainty in your tone. Some will be drawn to it, some unsettled by it. It matters not. The subconscious law works in silence, indifferent to opinion. Continue your nightly replacements until they feel natural. Then extend the practice into your days. When challenges arise, do not react, replace. When someone offends you, replace anger with understanding. When failure tempts you to despair, replace it with renewed effort. Each replacement is a victory of will over habit. You will know you have mastered this law when adversity no longer provokes panic, but prompts calm decision. When loss meets gratitude, when delay meets patience, then you will have built the character that fortune obeys. Remember, you cannot destroy darkness by fighting it. You remove it by lighting a lamp. Your lamp is faith, gratitude, and purpose. Light it every night until your whole inner house is bright. Repeat often and with feeling. Every breath replaces doubt with certainty. Every hour replaces hesitation with calm command. My faith is steady, my progress silent, my victory sure. Say these words not as hope, but as law. The subconscious accepts only conviction. This is the work of true transformation. It does not shout, it whispers, it does not struggle, it substitutes, and in time it makes the new self so natural that the old seems like a dream. Let the world argue with its fears while you quietly replace yours with faith. In that faith lies the calm power that builds empires, heals hearts, and turns unseen thought into visible reality. You are not here to wrestle with the past. You are here to replace it. Begin tonight. There is a power that belongs only to the man who has learned to be alone without feeling lonely. When the world withdraws, he discovers that he is not deserted, but invited. For silence is not emptiness. It is the meeting place between man and the infinite. It is in silence that the greatest minds of history have received their guidance, and it is in silence that you will find your own. Every man must build what I call his inner circle of silence, a gathering not of flesh and blood, but of thought and spirit. Within this circle you meet with the wise, the courageous, and the faithful, not as ghosts of the dead, but as living influences in your mind. You may sit in quiet communion with those who have mastered what you seek to learn. Through imagination, you draw their strength into your own spirit. When I was first entrusted by Andrew Carnegie with the task of studying the principles of success, I discovered this power for myself. In my moments of doubt, I would sit in the stillness of night and summon to my mental counsel those I most admired: Lincoln, Edison, Carnegie, Napoleon, and others. I imagined their faces clearly. I asked them questions. I listened to their replies. In those hours of solitude, I felt their minds unite with mine, guiding me toward understanding. Some may call this fantasy, but those who understand the law of the subconscious know it as truth. Every thought once formed lives forever. When you think of a great man with admiration and faith, you tune your own mind to the same frequency of greatness. You do not steal his power, you harmonize with it. The subconscious bridges the distance between minds as easily as air carries sound. The foolish man seeks company and noise, but the wise man seeks counsel in silence. He fills his circle not with gossipers, but with giants. He listens not to complaint, but to conviction. In imagination, he stands among masters, and in time he becomes one. Think of Napoleon Bonaparte before his battles. In the solitude of his tent, he would sit for hours in absolute stillness, his mind traveling ahead of his army. His officers found him strange, detached, almost otherworldly. They saw only the calm. They did not see the communion. For in those hours, he was meeting with his invisible allies, his own conception of destiny, courage, and genius. When he rose, his men followed him as though hypnotized. They felt the force of a mind that had already conquered within. You too must build such communion. Each night before you sleep, gather in imagination a small company of the wise. They may be men you have studied or men you have known, living or departed. Choose those whose qualities you wish to awaken in yourself: faith, calmness, vision, integrity, courage. Picture them seated around you in perfect harmony. Speak to them as equals. Ask them for guidance on the matters before you. Then listen, not for words, but for impressions, impulses, ideas that rise like whispers from within. Do not mistake this for superstition. The subconscious draws from infinite intelligence, and infinite intelligence often speaks through symbols and impressions. The man who listens in silence becomes the receiver of wisdom that others cannot hear because they are too noisy inside. In time, you will notice that decisions, once difficult, become clear. Inspiration will strike without warning. Confidence will appear when needed. This is the fruit of your inner circle of silence. You will find that you never truly work alone, for the minds of greatness will walk beside you. To maintain this circle, you must guard it from intrusion. Never bring into it the image of anyone small in thought or weak in spirit. The law of harmony forbids it. The great will not remain in company with the trivial. Keep your circle pure, filled only with those who elevate you. The world speaks endlessly, yet says nothing. The wise man listens rarely, yet hears everything. The reason is simple. Silence sharpens perception. Noise dulls it. When you still the surface of your mind, truth reflects clearly like the sky upon calm water. But when the mind is disturbed by gossip, criticism, or fear, the reflection is broken. Most men avoid silence because it reveals themselves to themselves. They are afraid of their own thoughts, for they have allowed them to become chaotic. But you, who seek mastery, must enter silence as a king enters his throne room, not in fear, but in command. You must bring order to your inner court. As you meet with your inner circle, remember that you are not begging favors. You are commanding ideas. The subconscious obeys images of authority. Approach your mental council as its leader, not its servant. Speak with conviction. Listen with faith. Act with decisiveness upon the inspiration received. You may find it helpful to write down the impressions that arise after such communion. Often, the ideas that appear in those moments are not random. They are the guidance of infinite intelligence taking shape in language your conscious mind can grasp. Some will ask how you can be certain this is not imagination. To that I answer, all things are first imagination. Every building was imagined before it was built. Every discovery was imagined before it was proven. Imagination guided by faith is the tool by which infinite intelligence expresses itself through man. Consider Edison, who said he never invented anything. He merely discovered what was already waiting to be found. His quiet hours in the laboratory were not hours of trial and error. They were hours of listening. He communed with the universal laws in silence until they revealed their secrets. The world called him a genius. He called himself a patient observer. In your own life, this practice will change not only your thoughts, but your presence. People will feel the calm power of your silence. You will speak less and be understood more. You will listen better and learn faster. Your words will carry weight because they will be born from stillness, not impulse. The inner circle of silence does more than instruct. It transforms. The subconscious, when fed daily with images of greatness, begins to reshape your character to match them. Your tone of voice, your posture, your manner of thinking, all adjust to the higher pattern. You begin to behave as though the giants were watching, and in truth they are. Each night as you prepare for sleep, take a few moments to enter your mental council. See the faces of your chosen mentors. Feel their presence. Speak your desire or your problem clearly. Ask for insight. Then sit in quiet expectancy. You may receive no answer at once, but in the coming days, the right idea or opportunity will appear. Infinite intelligence wastes nothing. It always answers the faithful mind. There will be times when you feel no connection, when silence seems empty. Persist. Faith is not built in comfort. Every repetition strengthens your link with the unseen. Eventually, silence will become a presence. Alive, intelligent, reassuring. You will look forward to it as others look forward to conversation. When you rise from this communion, carry its dignity into your day. Move as one who walks with counsel. Speak as one who has heard truth. The crowd will sense your composure, and though they cannot explain it, they will respect it. Authority born of silence commands without demand. Let me give you a caution. Do not boast of this practice. It is your sacred meeting with the infinite. To speak of it lightly is to drain its power. Keep it as your secret covenant. The moment you make it entertainment for others, it loses its holiness. As your silent fellowship deepens, you will find that new ideas visit you unbidden. They will arrive in the quiet moments of the day, in walks, in solitude, even in conversation. They are the echoes of your nightly meetings. Write them down, act upon them, and give thanks. Gratitude strengthens the connection between your mind and infinite intelligence. Each act of recognition invites greater flow. The more you appreciate your silent guidance, the more abundant it becomes. Eventually, you will realize that the men of your inner circle are not separate from you. They are expressions of the same divine mind operating through many forms. You are not borrowing their power. You are awakening your own. Their image was the bridge. Your faith is the destination. Repeat this affirmation before you close your eyes. I am surrounded by minds greater than mine. Their wisdom flows through me. In silence, I hear the counsel of greatness. Say it until you feel the presence of power around and within you. Sleep in that awareness. Let the night carry your mind into realms of understanding that words cannot reach. The world will never know the source of your growing confidence. They will see results and call them luck. They will sense your wisdom and call it intuition. They will notice your calm and call it mystery. But you will know it is the reward of your inner circle of silence. Every man who achieves enduring success learns this secret, though few speak of it. The greatest discoveries of humanity were not shouted into being. They were whispered in silence to prepared minds. The same voice still speaks. The question is not whether it speaks to you, but whether you are quiet enough to hear. So tonight, close the door of your mind to the world. Enter your chamber of stillness. Sit among the masters. Listen for the guidance that belongs only to those who are unafraid of silence. For in that silence lies the counsel that builds empires, heals hearts, and reveals to each man the next step on his divine path. There is a law of compensation that never fails. Every act you perform returns to you multiplied, but only when it is done in the right spirit. Men who labor only for pay become slaves to wages, but those who give more than they receive command the law itself. For life pays its richest rewards not to the loud worker, but to the silent one, the man who serves invisibly, faithfully, and without witness. I have called this principle the discipline of invisible service. It is the highest form of mastery because it demands self-control, humility, and vision. To do more than paid for, to give beyond the agreement, to serve when no eye observes. These acts may seem small, yet they move unseen machinery in your favor. Every quiet deed sets spiritual law in motion. The world may overlook it, but infinite intelligence records it. When a man acts with the right motive, his subconscious accepts the habit of abundance. He begins to believe that he always has more to give, and the law fulfills that belief. But the one who withholds effort, who measures every movement by the coin, builds the habit of limitation. He convinces his mind that there is never enough. Thus, poverty is not the absence of money, it is the presence of smallness in thought. The greatest men I have known rose because they served silently when others demanded recognition. John Wanamaker began his career sweeping floors in a small shop. Each night he arranged the goods more carefully than required. He spoke kindly to customers who barely noticed him. His employer saw the effect without understanding the cause. Sales increased, morale lifted, and trust grew. Wanamaker's invisible service made him indispensable. In time, he owned the very business he once cleaned. There was also E.M. Statler, who began in a hotel kitchen. He scrubbed floors long after others went home, not from fear of punishment, but from devotion to excellence. He understood that the habit of quality shapes destiny. Each motion of the mop trained his subconscious to expect mastery. The unseen law saw it too. When opportunity came, Statler was prepared in spirit before he was prepared in circumstance. His invisible diligence became visible wealth. You may think such stories belong to another age, but truth does not age. The law that governed them governs you. When you perform every task as though the world were watching, even when it is not, you impress upon your mind a standard that cannot produce mediocrity. And since the subconscious controls your results, excellence must become your lot. The invisible worker does not depend upon applause. His satisfaction comes from inner harmony. He knows that his real employer is law itself. His reward is inevitable, though unseen at first. The lazy man may mock him today, but tomorrow he will serve him. Invisible service is not submission. It is supremacy. When you serve silently, you control the terms of your destiny. You build credit with the universe, and that credit cannot be stolen. It gathers interest in the invisible bank of cause and effect until at the right hour, it pays dividends far beyond your imagination. You may test this truth now. Begin tomorrow by doing one extra act that no one expects of you. Offer no explanation, no announcement. Do it well and keep silent. Observe how you feel afterward. You will notice an inner warmth, a quiet satisfaction. That feeling is the signal of spiritual alignment. It tells you that infinite intelligence has registered your effort. Repeat this practice daily. Sweep the floor as though your name were written on every board. Speak kindly when no ear will hear. Give a little more than you promised. Do not count the minutes. Count the meaning. In time, these small acts will gather force. People will begin to treat you with more respect, though they cannot explain why. Circumstances will start to flow more easily. You will think yourself lucky, but luck is only law in motion. I call this unseen record the invisible ledger. Every generous thought, every unselfish act, every hour of honest work is entered there. You cannot view the account, but you can feel its balance. The man who serves without witness builds wealth no thief can touch. When the time of opportunity arrives, the account pays out. Understand also that invisible service refines character. Each time you perform more than required, you silence the voice of ego that demands reward. You teach the subconscious to act from abundance, not need. Soon, generosity becomes your nature. And nature, when it becomes habit, forms destiny. There was once a young salesman I knew who struggled for years without success. He measured every task by the commission it promised. I told him to reverse his method, to focus not on profit, but on the service he rendered. Give more in value than you receive in payment, I said. He obeyed. Within 6 months, his income tripled. But the greater reward was unseen, the confidence and peace that filled his spirit. The discipline of invisible service demands sincerity. You cannot fake it. The subconscious knows your motive as clearly as you know your reflection. If you serve only for gain, it records selfishness and returns it. If you serve for the joy of creation, it records faith and multiplies it. You cannot deceive law, you can only cooperate with it. There is also a purification that comes through quiet service. Pride fades, vanity dies. The worker learns humility, the knowledge that his labor is part of something larger. When pride is gone, power flows unobstructed. Pride blocks the channel through which infinite intelligence must move. But humility opens it wide. This does not mean you must become meek or self-effacing. True humility is confidence in law, not dependence on favor. It says, I serve because I can, and because service is its own reward. The man who serves thus never loses dignity, he gains it. When you make invisible service a habit, people around you begin to sense reliability. They trust you, often without knowing why. They will offer you responsibilities others are denied. They will speak your name when opportunity calls. This is the invisible magnet of character. It draws reward without demand. Let me tell you something few understand. The subconscious is trained by motion, not merely by thought. Every time you act beyond your duty, you write the word abundance into your nervous system. Every time you do less, you write scarcity. You are programming destiny through the quality of your labor. Remember Carnegie, who often said that the secret of his fortune was found in doing more than paid for. When he was a telegraph messenger, he delivered every message with speed and courtesy, whether tipped or not. That habit of excellence made him known long before he held authority. The world opened its gates to a man whose spirit had already proven worthy. Invisible service also brings spiritual protection. When your heart is pure in motive, you are shielded from envy and deceit. The law itself defends those who work for its sake alone. Others may scheme and slander, but they cannot touch what is guarded by unseen order. The man of quiet service walks through turmoil unharmed. You may wonder how this connects to your nightly practice. The answer is simple. What you do by day strengthens what you command by night. Each act of invisible service is a declaration of faith in abundance. It tells the subconscious, there is always more to give. At night, when you impress your mind with visions of prosperity, that day's service gives substance to your command. Faith without works is noise. Work done in faith is power. As you serve invisibly, remember to record nothing in memory. Forget your good deeds quickly. The law remembers for you. If you seek praise, you take your payment in vanity and lose your interest in destiny. But if you release your work to the universe, it returns 100-fold. There is beauty in knowing that no effort is lost. Every silent act adds a stone to the invisible structure of your success. Most men build castles of talk. You will build cathedrals of action. When others boast of what they plan to do, you will already have done it. That is mastery. Let me give you a nightly affirmation to strengthen this discipline. I serve silently, knowing that law sees all. Every unseen effort is a step toward unseen reward. What I give returns multiplied. My hands are guided by faith. My heart is filled with abundance. Speak these words softly before sleep. They will align your subconscious with service instead of struggle. In time, your nature will shift from taking to giving, and prosperity will chase you as a shadow follows light. You will find joy even in simple tasks, for you will sense the presence of infinite intelligence in every movement. Work will no longer tire you, for it will no longer be labor. It will be expression. You will serve not because you must, but because you may. The invisible worker belongs to the upper class of spirit. He is beyond competition because he competes only with himself. He is beyond fear because he knows law will balance all accounts. He is beyond envy because he understands that his own fortune is being assembled silently. So go on and let others advertise their virtues. Let them chase recognition while you build reputation. Let them beg for reward while you accumulate power. For in the quiet accounting of the universe, your invisible service will one day stand visible for all to see. Then when others ask, "How did you rise so high?" you will smile, for you will know the truth. They saw only the harvest, never the planting. Serve silently, my friend. Serve with faith. Serve until your name becomes synonymous with integrity. Then rest easy, knowing that nothing done in secret is ever lost in the sight of law. There is a stage in the building of every man's destiny where the outer world must not yet know who he is becoming. At this stage, identity itself is under construction. You are not yet what you will be, and if you expose this new image too soon, the winds of criticism and the frost of disbelief will destroy the tender formation of your new self. The seed of greatness must grow unseen until it is strong enough to survive the light. Every man carries two selves, the one the world has known and the one waiting within. The first is the product of habit, opinion, and memory. The second is divine design, your original blueprint. But to awaken that inner identity, you must first make room for it. You cannot live as both the old man and the new. One must fade. The transformation occurs first in the invisible, then in the visible. I call this process the law of concealed identity. It is the law that protects the new self while it is still forming. The subconscious must first accept a new concept of who you are before life can mirror it back. But if you speak of this change before it becomes rooted, others' disbelief will plant counterseeds of doubt. Keep silent until conviction hardens into fact. Faith at its highest form is inner acceptance, quiet agreement with a higher version of yourself long before the world acknowledges it. The man who possesses this inner agreement walks differently. His eyes are steady. His voice carries calm authority. He no longer begs for approval because he knows who he is, even if others do not. His power comes from within, not from permission. Before you can create riches, leadership, or peace, you must create the identity of the man who naturally possesses them. A poor man who suddenly acquires gold without changing his self-image will soon lose it. But a man who adopts the consciousness of wealth will attract riches even in a desert. The law does not deliver possessions. It delivers reflections of identity. This is why I tell you, change how you see yourself, and the world will reorganize itself accordingly. But keep this new vision private until it becomes stable. Do not seek validation. Seek embodiment. Do not announce that you are becoming strong. Become strong. Do not speak of confidence. Walk in it. The loud man proclaims change. The wise man lives it. Each night before sleep, perform what I call nightly character creation. Lie still and see yourself already living as the man you intend to be. Do not imagine yourself achieving something. Imagine yourself being someone. See yourself standing with composure, speaking with certainty, moving with purpose. Feel it as reality. The subconscious obeys identity faster than ambition. In this mental rehearsal, no one must intrude. The moment you share your vision, you divide its strength. Others will project their limitations upon it. Even those who love you may unknowingly weaken you by their doubts. Protect the image as you would an infant. Feed it daily. Speak to it with reverence, and reveal it to no one. When it matures, it will announce itself through your life. Consider Henry Ford, long before his factories and fame. In his youth, he worked among machines covered in grease, mocked for his dreams. Yet in his mind, he was already a master manufacturer. He saw himself commanding men, designing vehicles for the world. He acted as though he already were that man. His subconscious accepted the identity, and the universe bent to it. What others call delusion was preparation. Think also of Andrew Carnegie, who, before wealth, imagined himself a man of influence and generosity. He planned foundations, schools, and libraries while still an employee. His subconscious formed the image, and reality followed its blueprint. By the time fortune came, the identity was already complete. He did not rise to wealth. He grew into it. This is the secret. Success is not something you achieve. It is something you remember. You are merely returning to your rightful identity, the self created in the image of faith. When you stop clinging to your former limitations, the true self emerges naturally, like a statue revealed when the marble is carved away. Every man must decide when to stop living as the echo of his past. You cannot rise while dragging yesterday's definition of yourself. Your friends may insist that you remain who you were, but you owe them no explanation. Growth requires separation. The tree does not apologize for outgrowing the seed. At first, your new identity will feel unfamiliar. You may feel as though you are pretending, but persistence turns imitation into embodiment. Act as if until it becomes as is. The subconscious knows no difference between practice and performance. It believes what is repeated with emotion. In the silence of your nights, repeat affirmations that align with your chosen self. I am becoming the man my future requires. I live now in silent agreement with my higher self. I no longer seek permission to rise. I am already appointed. Speak them until they no longer sound like desire, but description. That is the moment of conception, the point where belief becomes identity. The world has always resisted new identities. Every prophet, inventor, and leader has been ridiculed before being revered. Edison was called a dreamer. Lincoln was called unfit. Ford was called foolish. Yet each carried his new self in secret until it became undeniable. You must do the same. Conceal your transformation until it cannot be destroyed by laughter. Your old identity will fight for survival. It will whisper, "Stay small, stay safe." But do not argue with it. Simply starve it. Feed only the new self with repetition and action. Each time you make a decision aligned with your future self, you weaken the power of the past. Each night you imagine yourself as the man you wish to be. The old image fades. This is evolution, not rebellion. When the new self is finally strong, it will express itself effortlessly. You will no longer need to remind yourself to act boldly, to think richly, or to walk proudly. You will simply be. The world will notice, but you will not care for their noticing. Recognition will feel small compared to the majesty of self-possession. Others will respond to you differently. They will sense something they cannot name, an aura of quiet authority. They will speak to you with new respect, though they do not understand why. Their subconscious minds will respond to the conviction radiating from yours. You will not have to prove yourself. Your presence will do it for you. In this state, everything changes. Opportunity seeks you. Problems yield to your command. People of influence begin to appear in your orbit. It is not coincidence. It is the law of resonance. The subconscious of others recognizes power in you and aligns with it. The outer world always follows the lead of the inner. You must remember, however, that humility must remain your companion. Concealed identity is not arrogance. It is stewardship. You do not parade your growth. You protect it. Pride exposes what patience conceals. The man who brags about transformation has already begun to lose it. The strongest lion makes the least noise. Power that must be announced is still uncertain, but power that remains silent is absolute. Let your actions, not your words, reveal who you are becoming. Speak little, move steadily, and keep your counsel within. When you encounter those who doubt your new self, do not defend it. Silence is the perfect answer to disbelief. Argument wastes power. Demonstration multiplies it. Continue your nightly practice. Continue acting as the new man, and let results silence the critics. The world cannot argue with proof. You will reach a point when even you will forget the struggle. The new self will feel as natural as breath. You will look back upon your former identity as a distant shadow. Gratitude will replace pride, for you will know that this power came not from ego, but from alignment with infinite intelligence. Never forget that the subconscious always responds to what you accept as truth. If you see yourself as weak, it builds weakness. If you see yourself as capable, it builds strength. Identity is the command that governs all behavior. Choose wisely what self you feed. At the close of each day, ask yourself, did I act today as the man I have chosen to become? If the answer is yes, give thanks. If the answer is no, forgive quickly and try again tomorrow. Forgiveness clears the slate. Repetition writes the truth. There is a peace that comes from knowing you are no longer pretending to be something for others. You live now as a man defined by purpose, not approval. This peace cannot be bought, and it cannot be shaken. It is the foundation of lasting success. And when your success does appear, remain silent a little longer. Let the world discover it through observation, not announcement. Protect the source by honoring its secrecy. The man who guards his identity after it is born ensures its immortality. Remember always, visibility invites interference. Invisibility ensures growth. Conceal your identity until it is self-sustaining, and you will never lose it. Repeat this truth nightly. I am the architect of myself. My old self fades like night before dawn. My new identity rises quietly, certain and unshakable. The dawn will come, and when it does, the world will see a man transformed, but they will not know how. And that is as it should be. The greatest power is unseen. The highest transformation is unannounced. The truest identity is felt, not declared. Conceal yours until it radiates through your very being. Then, and only then, reveal nothing, for the world will already know. There comes a moment, after long obedience to law, when what you have built within finally appears without. This moment does not arrive with noise or announcement. It comes quietly, as dawn follows the night. The world will awaken to find you changed, yet you will have known it for long. You will have felt the shift deep within your being long before the evidence became visible. This is what I call the silent arrival, the stage where the inner has become outer, where thought has become form, and where faith has completed its circle. You will notice that it comes not with excitement, but with calm. There is no trembling, no surprise, no pride, only quiet recognition. You have lived the result inwardly so long that its outer appearance feels natural. The man who has rehearsed greatness in the theater of his mind cannot be startled when the curtain rises upon success. He only steps into his rightful role. Understand this truth. The world does not reward the man who begs. It yields to the man who becomes. You have spent nights building, replacing, guarding, and envisioning. The subconscious has shaped your thought into conviction, your conviction into action, and your action into circumstance. Now the harvest begins, but the law demands one final discipline: silence. Do not speak of it. Let the results speak for you. Those who once doubted you will now seek your counsel. They will ask, "How did you do it?" But you will know that no single answer could capture what occurred in those silent nights. The transformation was invisible. The world saw only the surface, but you and infinite intelligence know the price. Long patience, hidden persistence, quiet faith. True prosperity appears without drama. It is not like lightning that shocks the sky, but like sunrise that warms the horizon. The man of sudden wealth often loses it because he is unprepared for stillness. The man of silent growth keeps it because it is an extension of his being. When riches, success, and peace arrive by law, they are not intruders. They are relatives returning home. When your moment of arrival comes, resist the temptation to proclaim it. Do not rush to explain your success or your newfound peace. The need to prove yourself is a remnant of the old self. The master does not advertise mastery. He lives it. Silence preserves what pride destroys. Speak of your victory only to the infinite, in gratitude, and even then with humility. You will begin to see new opportunities forming without effort. People will enter your path seemingly by chance, yet they are drawn by the magnetic field of your conviction. This is the law of attraction as understood by those who live it, not those who chant it. You have become a center of order, and all that is orderly gravitates toward you. George Eastman, the founder of Kodak, worked quietly in a small laboratory while others dismissed his dream. He spoke to few of his plan, preferring to labor unseen. Years later, his invention transformed photography forever. When the world finally learned his name, his success seemed sudden, but it was the silent arrival of years of unseen devotion. The same could be said of Dr. David Starr Jordan, who once remarked that calm expectation is the mark of mastery. He taught that the mind which truly knows its power no longer shouts. It simply knows and receives. So must you learn to expect success as naturally as the lungs expect air. It is not arrogance, it is harmony with law. At this stage, you will begin to feel a great peace, for you will realize that your struggle was never against circumstance, but against doubt. You have overcome the only enemy that exists, the enemy within. The outer victories are reflections of that inner conquest. When the mind is conquered, The world must obey. This calmness will become your signature. Others will notice it long before they recognize its cause. They will see you act without haste, decide without fear, and recover from loss without despair. To them it will seem supernatural. To you, it will feel inevitable. You will have learned that nothing external can threaten the man who governs himself. This is not the end of growth, but the beginning of mastery. Silent arrival is not a destination, but a condition of being. From this point, you no longer chase results. Results follow you. You no longer pursue wealth. Wealth seeks your direction. You no longer fight for peace. Peace radiates from you. The man who lives by law need not struggle. He commands through alignment. Do not forget the discipline that brought you here. The subconscious will continue to obey whatever dominates your mind. If you relax into pride or indulgence, the rhythm of faith will weaken. Maintain your nightly rituals. Continue to review your purpose in silence. Continue to give more than required. Continue to serve the unseen law. What has been built can only endure through maintenance. Your greatest danger at this stage is noise. Noise of praise, noise of curiosity, noise of self-importance. The world will try to make you speak, to explain, to perform. Resist it. The seed that spoke too soon was plucked before it ripened. Protect your growth through silence, for secrecy is still strength. Let your life become your message. Those who seek to know your method will learn more by observing your composure than by hearing your words. The truly wise teach through example. The sight of calm, prosperous, purposeful living will speak louder than any lecture. You may wonder why secrecy must continue even after success, because exposure weakens focus. When men begin to seek your attention, you risk shifting from creation to performance. Performance exists to please others. Creation exists to please law. Choose creation. Protect your focus as you once protected your faith. Gratitude must now replace striving. Speak often to infinite intelligence in silent thanks. Gratitude keeps the channels open between you and the source. It transforms possession into stewardship. The man who gives thanks for what he has will never lose it. He multiplies it by recognition. You will also discover a deeper humility. True greatness has no need for display. You will feel compassion for those still struggling, for you will remember that you once lived in their confusion. Help when moved by faith, but do not waste energy convincing. Each soul must discover truth in its own time. Offer light, not lecture. If you have followed these teachings, your entire bearing will now reflect mastery. Your words will be deliberate. Your presence will calm others. Even in chaos, you will radiate order. You will have joined the small company of men who move the world quietly, builders, creators, leaders of faith. You will realize that every promise made in earlier nights has been fulfilled. You planted the seed in silence, withheld your strength, rebuilt your mind, replaced your fears, listened to the great unseen, served without witness, and became your higher self. The result is inevitable. The world has rearranged itself to mirror your inner order. This is the fulfillment of all the laws you have obeyed. The law of the hidden seed gave you beginnings. The law of withholding built your pressure. The law of the night builder constructed your belief. The law of quiet replacement renewed your emotional soil. The inner circle of silence brought you wisdom. The discipline of invisible service trained your spirit in humility. The law of concealed identity established your true self. And now, the law of silent arrival crowns them all. You will wake one morning and realize that you have become everything you once imagined in secret. Your hands will perform tasks that once frightened you. Your words will influence men who once ignored you. Your presence will open doors that were once locked. You will have become the living proof that mind is master and that faith, applied persistently, reshapes reality. At this stage, speech is unnecessary. Every movement declares success. Every glance reveals certainty. You will notice that people defer to you, not out of fear, but out of natural respect. They feel that you know where you are going. And indeed you do. The path is no longer a question, it is a fact. Let your affirmation at this level be simple. My results will speak for me. My silence will protect me. My life will express what I have built in secret. Repeat it nightly, not as a prayer for more, but as gratitude for what is. Rest in the knowledge that law never fails. The same power that built your first success will build the next. The rhythm of creation continues, ever upward. Even as you enjoy prosperity, continue to operate quietly. Avoid boasting. Keep your inner life private. The loud man draws envy. The silent man draws peace. The law works most freely in serenity. There will be moments when others try to attribute your success to chance. Smile and let them. To explain yourself is to surrender dignity. You are not obliged to reduce divine order to human understanding. Let them guess. It is better they remain in wonder. In the stillness of night, reflect upon how far you have come. Remember the early doubts, the restless struggles, the silent disciplines. Give thanks for every trial, for they carved your strength. You will understand then why secrecy was sacred. It allowed you to commune with your soul without interruption. The man who walks with faith walks with peace. The man who commands his thoughts commands his world. You have become that man. And now, through your example, you silently teach others to do the same. Never forget that every great life is a testimony written in silence. Lincoln, Carnegie, Edison, Ford, their true victories were not in their fame, but in their mastery of self. Fame was only the echo. The music was made in secret, and so it shall be with you. The world will see the echo. You will know the music. Keep composing it daily, in the privacy of your heart. Speak little, think deeply, serve quietly, and live faithfully. For the law of success is not loud. It whispers to the patient. It reveals itself to those who work unseen. And when at last it crowns them, it does so in silence. So let the world sleep while you rise. Let others speak while you act. Let noise chase fame. Let silence create legacy. For your journey began in darkness, but it ends in light. Not the light of spotlight or applause, but the eternal light of mastery. Steady, serene, and sure. You have arrived, and the world seeing you will never know how.